Hi, welcome back. Today I'm going to show you how to make a checkerboard afghan, and it will take you about 6 hours to make this. I made each row. Each row took about 4.5 minutes. I did weave in my ends. On one end I used 6 strands of Caron yarn, but it was such a pain to weave it in, and I wove it into the plies that on the end that I began with, I actually added more yarn and made a tassel. And that's what I'm going to put in every corner of the throw. I've only done it on the one, and that will look much better and it's faster. I thought I was crazy, and then I saw a whole bunch of afghan patterns that did the same thing. If you run out of yarn, consider using a contrasting color. Now, the reason I used the Caron, and you can see that it's reversible, it will lay flat, and it looks really cute in this yarn. Now, this is the color Azure, and again, I used 6 strands from 3 skeins, and I'll explain that in a moment. And I used a slip stitch edge, which I thought was much more attractive. I'll show you what it looks like if you don't. This is fairly open. I made it on the 30-inch long, 1/2 inch Schedule 40 pipe, so if you want it tighter, add another strand of yarn or use smaller pipes and experiment. Do a swatch first to see how much yarn you'll actually need. This took, as I said, about 6 hours, and this yarn, I can see why it is such a popular seller. Year after year. It's durable, it washes well. I have never run across any knots in the yarn itself. If you ever do, cut it out and put it back together with a Russian join, and you'll never see those knots. And once you've washed it, it's much softer. So when you start one of these packages, if you look on the left-hand side, that's where the center pull ball always is on these. If you don't see it, feel in there with your finger a little bit, and you'll find the tail. And the way I set myself up, I just use this cardboard box, and it's nothing fancy. I might cover it later with some fabric just to be cute, but it's the right size. 16 inches by 12 inches, and I just stood them up in there and, pulled my yarn out. Give it some tugs first. At first it wants to tangle up in there a bit, but it'll come out. But make sure you're pulling the end on the left. Now, I pulled off by hand, 5 feet at a time, into a pile on the floor. Once I'd done my sample and I guessed how much yardage I needed. So I thought that I was going to need 1,125 feet on the 3 of the strands, because I worked from 3 skeins. It's faster and easier if you work from 6 skeins, and then you can make 2 afghans from it. Never buy this full price, because it's $11 a skein. You can get it on sale for about $6.60, and you can make a lovely little afghan for less than 20 bucks, plus tax. So, but if you're making it with 3 skeins, you need to pull out about half your yarn. So I guessed, or estimated based on my swatch, that I needed 1,125 feet, and I added 50 feet to be on the safe side. I had 7 feet left. So if you do that and just pull it out 5 feet at a time and let it drop onto the floor, make sure your cats and your kids are not in the room, then wind it up into a ball. It's easier. Or, like I say, work from 6 skeins. If you do that and you're working from the 3, as you get down into your skein, it'll still be standing up, but it'll want to collapse at the very end. And I just hold my skeins open with a glass jar. So if you have any of these old mason jars around, just stick it down inside of that as the yarn winds out, and it'll hold it up and it'll come out smoothly. So, in order to knit the checkerboard, you will, the way I did it, if you want to make it like I did, I call this a 6x6 checkerboard, and I added a slip edge. And I did it, as I said, on 30-inch long, 1/2 inch rods, and to actually see it, watch the next video.